Aye.
Aye. Is this going to make me fat?
Well, on that note, we have a quorum with Mr. Woolley representing Chairman Adams and with the chairwoman present. Is there a motion to call to order the meeting of the members of the Housing Trust Fund Corporation?
I'll vote.
And a second.
So moved. Second.
After this morning, the first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the meeting held on September 6, 2018. If there are no questions or comments, the minutes will be deemed approved. Next, before the board is a resolution authorizing the sponsorship of the AmeriCorps Vista members and awards to the neighborhood and rural preservation companies for assistance with outreach initiatives for manufactured home resources.
Yay! Feel like to cheer
And the crowd goes wild.
I feel like you guys have heard me say this so many times, so I'll repeat it. So we applied to AmeriCorps for 9 Vista volunteers for a minimum of 1 year, and we were approved. And so we would like to release an RFP to the neighborhood and rural preservation companies to award 4 of the companies to hire an education and outreach associate for 2 years and to house 2 Vista volunteers at their office location. And those teams of 3 will be working on promoting Sunny May and Office of Community Renewal programs, specifically or with an emphasis on manufactured home park communities and the new Manufactured Home Advantage program.
Awesome. Why are you laughing at that?
Because I had a name, the Dina Levy Manufactured Home Program. This is all a cover.
No. We named it this, and it turns out Fannie Mae just named their program Manufactured Home Advantage. And we're going to have to change our name.
Yeah, should we change it?
Yeah, we're going to have to.
We have to.
That's not a board action.
No.
So assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. The next is a resolution authorizing home local performance-based initiative awards. Jason?
Good afternoon. Jason Purvis. Just letting everyone know the next 2 items are being brought to you by a social style position C4.
Outrageous.
You just might get in a box by mentioning that.
This thing we did yesterday.
Oh.
He's
Definitely not
being
worth
very
repeating.
amicable and nice, so you have to be nice back.
Go ahead, Jason. Well done.
Okay, so the home PBIs, OCR is looking to advance $650,000 for 2 New York State Home Local Program performance-based initiatives. These initiatives streamline the home award and contracting process, and are part of are listed in the annual action plan as an option. To be considered, the terms and conditions must be the same as those in the open contract. No changes may be made to the eligible activity service area subsidy, special population served, or any other terms as applicable by the trust fund staffing for the program. The home staff works with the awardees regularly to make sure that everything is on order and on schedule and in compliance with the program regulations. So there are two PBIs, one for Rebuilding Together Saratoga for a PBI amount of $450,000, and one to the City of Mechanicville for $200,000 for the total of $650,000. So we're requesting a recommendation approval for the 2 PBI amounts under the home program.
Rebuilding Together Saratoga.
We love them.
Mm-hmm. No, nobody's bothered by the name? Shouldn't that be Rebuilding Saratoga Together?
No, rebuilding together.
Rebuilding Together, Saratoga
Yeah,
branch.
they're rebuilding together.
Oh,
New York
Rebuilding
City.
Together.
Actually, our own Chelsea used to be the executive director
Right.
of Rebuilding
The New York
Together,
City
New York
one.
City.
Rebuilding Together.
Hyphen.
Or comma.
Saratoga.
They're very
Semicolon.
involved in manufacturing.
Insane.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they're
This
really
will be
they're
the
a great
main.
group.
Okay, I'm all for Rebuilding Together.
Love them.
All right, then now before the board is a resolution authorizing home local performance-based initiative awards. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Next is a resolution authorizing award under the Community Development Block Program for Economic Development. Jason?
Thank you. The Village of The Village of Canastota in Madison County is requesting $750,000 in CDBG economic development funds to assist Dutchland Plastics with the purchase of machinery and equipment needed to relocate operations into a pre-existing commercial space within the village. The company currently leases a building from one of their biggest clients, and that company is reclaiming the building for their own use, thereby forcing Dutchland to relocate. Our funds, Dutchland Plastics has its headquarters in Wisconsin, and Wisconsin is trying to have the Madison County facility move back to Wisconsin. So our funds are retaining 27 jobs, keeping 27 jobs in New York, plus they're going to create 41 additional jobs. The facility that they're going to be into was also recently remediated with restore funds. So this will allow them to continue to service the Ferris Industries and Briggs and Stratton for current and future orders. And those two companies are big into they mold plastics for the lawnmower and lawn care needs. So the total project cost is $1,907,871. Again, retaining 27 current jobs and creating 41 additional over 2 years, with 97% of those to benefit low to moderate income individuals. CDBG funds will be used for machinery and equipment with a cost per job of just over $11,000. And each dollar in CDBG funds will leverage $1.54 in private investment. We're requesting a recommendation resolution to provide CDBG economic development funds to the Village of Canastota for Dutchland Plastics.
Now, if there are no questions, and now before the board is resolution authorizing a award under the Community Development Block Grant Program for Economic Development to the Village of Canastota.
Canastota.
Canastota, thank you. For Dutchland Plastics, assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
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 The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Next is a resolution approving the secret documentation and classification of projects for Bayshore Senior Residents. Heather? Oh, it's not Heather.
Hi.
What is it? It
How
is
is
Heather,
everyone?
sorry. Wrong
It's
glasses
okay.
today.
Heather Spitzberg. Do you want me to just do all three at once?
That would be great, thank
Sure.
you.
Okay.
You have one.
You got
So today I have three projects that I'm recommending
sorry.
for
Yeah.
unlisted negative declarations. The first is the Bayshore Senior Residence, which is new construction of a 4-story building with 75 units at 28 Park Avenue in the town of Islip in Suffolk County. Phase 1 and 2 environmental site assessments identified contaminated leaching pools and storm drains that will be remediated under supervision of the Suffolk County Health Department. Otherwise, there were no other circumstances that required mitigation. The second project is Cuca Gardens. That's the new construction of one 3-story building with 42 units at 199 Brown Street in the town of Milo, the village of Penn Yan in Yates County. There were no circumstances discovered that required mitigation for that project. And the final project is 1182 Woody Crest Avenue, which is new construction of a 9-story building with 45 units at 1182 Woody Crest Avenue in the city of New York, Bronx County. Potential underground storage tank and lead and soil hazards were discovered. Removal and mitigation plans have been submitted for those items, and otherwise there were no circumstances discovered that required mitigation. And unless anyone has any questions at this point, I recommend that those three projects be classified as unlisted and a negative declaration be issued for them.
And then now before the board is resolution approving the secret documentation and classification of three projects, the Bayshore Senior Residence, Cuca Gardens, and 1182 Woody Crest Avenue development. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. Next, we have an additional item for the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery, and Hillary Gunther is here to present it.
Yes, so thank you very much for allowing us to submit at the last minute. The properties are to be transferred tomorrow, so we Greatly appreciate it. The Buyouts and Acquisitions Program is seeking approval for the transfer of 10 properties to a civic association representing the towns of Flanders, Riverside, and Northampton. As I understand it, all of the lots, they've all been demoed, and they're going to be used, I believe they're going to be transferred to adjacent homeowners just to be used as open space to increase their lot size. But they'll maintain the restrictive covenant that they can't be built on or anything like that.
Nice. Free backyard.
Yes.
Side yard. That seems great.
Yep.
All right, the board is being asked to adopt the following resolution. I'll just read it out because it was not provided to you in advance. Section 1, the members hereby issue a written determination that there's no reasonable alternative to the proposed transfer for without compensation that would achieve the same purpose of such transfer, and approve the transfer of 10 properties to Flanders, Riverside, and Northampton Civic Association. Section 2, the members hereby authorize the executive team of the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery or any senior officer of HTFC or any agent authorized by the members to execute any documents which may be necessary and appropriate to effectuate the purposes of this resolution. Assuming the first and second previously entered, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The motion is carried and the resolution adopted. The remainder of the items are informational items and do not require board action. Number 6 is a review of the secret concurred summaries. Number 7, a review of secret type 2 projects. Number 8, review of secret determinations for the projects under the Governor's Office of Storm Recovery. Number 9 is review of authorized contracts under the Governor's Office of Storm Recoveries. Are there any remaining questions or comments? There being none, is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll move it.
And a second?
Second.
The meeting is now adjourned.
Well, fast.
Where was you thinking?
She has an argument in the appellate division, I think.
Real law.
Yeah. Yep.
I have never been to court.
Really?
Ever.
Not even for a parking ticket?
Not even for that. No, just for my, no, never.
I've been jailed 3 times.
That surprised me.
That
And
is
I,
actually
guarantee,
true.
and I guarantee you they gave you money on your way out.
To leave here?
You got a couple of $1 million.
Peaceful protest.
At least one's for a really good reason, one's for a slightly good reason, and one's for not a good reason.
Okay, so you can't just say that.
No, the first time actually